I'm gonna title this video "The Calm Before the Storm" and maintaining persistence through setbacks and realizing that just because you get a no, it doesn't mean that a no isn't bad, right? I think rejection is actually a sign that you're pushing yourself enough and being on track hard enough to know that you're towing in a direction that is going to require more from you. And for me, I have a couple really big things on the horizon, some things that I'm working towards, and some things that I'm really excited about. And I feel like lately, and part of the goals that I've set this year have um, been to get rejected. There's this really powerful principle in life. I feel when if we're not putting ourselves out there enough to be to be confronting what is outside of our scope of possibility to the point where we can get rejected, I feel like we're sitting on the sidelines. So for me recently, I've been asking for things and putting myself in situations that it's possible that I don't get what I'm seeking. And recently I got a no on something and it feels, if like you feel like the oomph of that. Like I'm over here like, oh man, like that kind of sucks. But in that, it also challenges me to keep going, and it challenges me to push harder. And I think that's the response of someone who knows where they're going. Right? It's like um, life isn't static. We talk about that all the time, but it's in the ability to push past when you get the no, would that be in business, relationship, all of it, pushing past the no is where you're going to finally confront the place where you are um, at something that you can collide with and have some type of like tangible impact on. And I'm about to step into some really exciting stuff. Like I've been given some really cool opportunity, and one another concept I'm thinking of is and I'm really excited because it's like I'm thinking of this too, like the calm before the storm, meaning that like I feel like we all go through periods of life, whether it's like a setback or it's something that we don't expect to happen. And then we all of a sudden, like we go through this period of calm, and then boom, it like life just opens up, right? And I feel like I just went through a season of about 3 months, 4 months of really feeling like, man, like not a lot's happening, blah blah blah. Like I'm in this state of kind of waiting. And recently, like boom, 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 a lot of things are starting to roll and happen right now. And it's super exciting. And it's also um, the reminder of like the reflection of that time is that calm, right? That calm before, and like the analogy I'm thinking of is like a tornado or like a thunderstorm, right? And I feel like there's like this moment where it's right before all of the action starts happening, and it's like this slow spiral, this progression of build up, build up, build up, build up until boom. Then there's just like this full force. And that's what I feel like I'm about to move into, like a season of opening up, of realizing that there was a reason why slowing down was important, but now it's going to be time to really kick back into gear in regards to speed and in regards to moving at a pace that is fast and moving at a pace that is um, within what's happening. So that's the reflections of, you know, um, a no doesn't mean a no is never bad. I feel like too, being rejected is actually a blessing because it teaches you that you have more to go. You have another level to reach, right? If you're not asking for like for example for me, so if I'm not you know pitching clients, if I'm not being more selective with friendship, if I'm not um, loving people better, if I'm not um, getting putting myself out there in a way that eludes me to get rejected, I feel like I'm not trying hard enough or I'm not doing the things that I need to do. And I feel like it's within the effort to try and in the effort to not stay stagnant. I always talk about this because when we sit still and when we're too okay, right? And that's a it's a I I've had a coach tell me that the ability to be okay with what is a sign of spiritual maturity. And while I feel that from the standpoint of like being zen and not non-reactive is good, there's also the component of the more you are content with what is, I feel like the less we are able to push towards what we want and be engaged with where we're going and what we're doing and how present we're being today, right? Because it's in today, it's in the moments that we work through now that dictate where we're going, right? And it's not in this like crazy OCD, like everything I'm doing has to be colliding in this, I sometimes try to think like that and live that way. And that's served me in a lot of capacities, and it also hasn't. I feel like almost more isn't more. I had a buddy, this weekend. We were working out together, and he was telling me like, he was like, go more sets, like as a joke, because sometimes when I work out, I jump around and I'm doing a lot, and it's just this good reminder. More isn't always what you need. I feel like, and we talk about this, less is sometimes more. What's more important is direction and where you're going, and make sure you're towing the line in the right direction, right? 2 inches in the right direction is better than going 10 feet hard in the wrong direction, right? Then you have to course correct and figure everything out, right? So defining where it is you want to tow and getting in that direction is way better. So more isn't always best. Less but more intentional is better, right? Moving in the direction that you want to be in, but with more intentionality and presence, I feel like will always bear more fruit and will always be better in the long run. And so as I look at what's about to transpire in my life and how things are going to like start picking up and going, and I say to myself, man, um I feel like immensely grateful for the time that I've spent these past 3 months really wondering when are things gonna click? When are things gonna start moving in like a momentum type way? And it's really just like a sign I feel like in that time I was really authentic with myself, and I said to myself like, man, what could I be doing? How could I be moving? How could I serve people better? How could I connect more with where I am now? And I feel like within that there's so much that I've learned and there's so much that I still have to learn. And I feel like it's when we can look at moments that may feel slow or feel like there's not a lot happening. Like, what can we do in those spaces? How can we make those times better, right? Because those times aren't any worse or better than the times where things are clicking or moving quicker, right? They're just different types of seasons and there's different types of movement, right? And just because you have more time to slow down and be calm doesn't mean that that time isn't more valuable than time where you are in flux or you're in movement, right? Both matter, both have value for you. It's just figuring out how to be intentional with both and then realize the balance between having both in your life and what both mean to you. Also, too, staying super consistent on your path and on your deadlines and on where you're going. That's a piece of life um, that I continue to feel very, very certain about in regards to direction is so important, right? I have seasonal goals. Seasonal goals meaning like every 3 months of this year in 2025, I've set out to accomplish like a fitness, a business, a relational, and there's one more. But within each 3 months. So I've broken the year down into 3 month segments and I've said, what can I do within these 3 months? And I still have a lot to accomplish. We still have, all this month left of the first season for me. And I feel like within that, there's so much I still have to do. There's so much I'm still having to press forward and accomplish and be present with and to work hard to accomplish, right? And I think that when we, like for me at least, what I'm learning is when we're consistent on the direction, like when I know what I'm aiming at this year, and I have peace about that, and I've invited spirit into that, and I feel like it's really those goals are really aligned for me, and I um feel real like I have so much peace about where I'm going and what I'm doing, and I feel like within that I have trust and I have faith, and I know that everything's gonna work out, everything's gonna have um really divine timing to it. Um, and I've really just where that started to well up, and what started within that is cultivating belief in myself, right? And what I've started to do is I'm taking all of the emphasis on reliance on the external, meaning like all of the input from others, right? All of the um, feedback from the external, and I've said what is true, what's coming out of me, what's true for me within these things, what's true for the direction of my life, not from the standpoint of in relation to others, in relation to what other people think, in reaction to what other people think, but in what's true for me and what's true in the direction that my life is going. And I've started to do that, and I've noticed just a shifts in how I feel about myself and how I feel about how I'm showing up in the world. Almost like there's just no performance. There's no one to perform for. There's nothing to really I don't have anything to impart on. It's just a different way of being when you're moving in a way that is right for you. And that's what I want for you, and that's what I want for you in this life. I recently um yeah, I'm really evaluating like how I'm moving and what am I doing to, and I speak about this, but live in my like highest timeline, which is the timeline of my life, which I've removed all the distractions and I'm moving in the direction. I'm towing the line towards what my absolute highest goals are, what my absolute highest desires are. And ever since I've allowed, it's, I say allow myself because I feel like in a lot of ways we hold ourselves back or we tell ourselves that we aren't worthy of the things that we truly want and we don't even put effort into them. And that's where the shifts have to happen is you deserve to put effort into the direction you want to go in, right? And I mean this not in relation to others. Like I'm gonna go off on this because it's the piece about this is what matters is your individuality within this life, right? Your unique self, that is what is special about you, right? And it's not your unique self in relation to others. It's your unique self for you. Like what's really true for you, that's what matters. That's what you should be tapping into. That's what is going to move you in the direction that you want to go, right? Because no one is going to do it for you. No one is going to do the work for you. No one's going to no one's going to love you like you can love yourself. No one's going to respect yourself like you can respect yourself. No one is going to guide you on a path that's right for you besides you. And I want that for you, right? Because once you stop putting those expectations on others, once you stop saying, hey, this person can fill this need for me, or this person can um do this, or like I have this expectation for this situation, or like all my fulfillment comes from this external thing, you are going to continually be disappointed. You're going to continually find yourself back at square one, which is looking at yourself saying, why did I do that? So find the piece of you which loves where you are, which is content with what you're doing, which has peace about the direction you're going, and which has the courage and the bravery to step forward into that, not knowing what will happen, not knowing the result of it, not having it all figured out, even being scared. Be scared. Be scared and move forward. Be scared and do it anyway. Have the faith to love yourself enough to give your dreams and your vision action, right? And it doesn't have to be big. I met with a client last week, and we were talking, and we had this really powerful conversation, and I feel like he was underselling himself to a certain extent, and his effort to acknowledge that he had made progress. And what I had told him was the smallest step is a vote enough of confidence for yourself, for your subconscious mind to accept the fact that you are moving into that new reality. It could be this small, this small. It could be the smallest thing. It doesn't have to be a home run. And I try to do that. I talk about that a lot. My big thing is I try to hit home runs all the time. I'm trying to like do this crazy thing, which is gonna like make this happen, and then da 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 da. Like I'm trying to do all this stuff. When in reality, sometimes a win in the day can be you slowed down, you journaled, you reviewed your goals, your vision for the year, you hit the gym. It could be so small, but when we can look at the things that are small but in relation to where we're going, it adds up on a timeline. It adds up, and um it gives you like this it gives you this space of ability to do that. It allows you to move through life and be grateful because you know you're moving in that direction. And that's the piece, is not being sold on how it'll happen or the moment that it happens. Because in reality, when we're moving through life and we're authentic with where we're going, you are gonna, as you go through life, you interact with certain people and certain things and certain situations that see this. They see you for who you are, and they either resonate or they don't, and then they can decide to move on, or they can really click with you. And then it's when they really click with you, that's when you can have this really special exchange. That's when you can partner with people within business, within relationship, within life, and have these just amazing moments because it's authentic for you. And that's what I want for you. I don't want you to be stuck in situations or a reality where you're not there. And I've seen this recently. People go through life and they're not fully present. They're not fully present with themselves, and they're not fully present with the external, right? And the reason for that is because they've they don't have a standard, and they haven't committed to things that truly are in alignment for them, that light them up. And I want that for you. I want you to see the fact that your life is tethered. And I say tethered because, and the visual I'm getting is, you know, the three pronged rope that's like looping, almost like a DNA strand. It's all connected. I want you tethered to that like vision for your life, to the highest timeline, so that like you may, yeah, sure, you may do some spins, you may not be, you may not jump all the way up, but as you go through life, you're spiraling upward. You're spiraling upward, and you're going in the direction, you're towing the line in the direction that serves you at your highest, serves you at your best. And from that, right, from that, amazing things will cultivate. Amazing things will cultivate because it doesn't matter if okay, so you ate some junk food today, or like, oh, okay, you went to bed, da, 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 like you didn't hit your routine or something. Those things are okay because you're tethered to that vision. You're going in the right direction. And that's the piece that matters, is direction. So remember, just because things are calm, you could be on the precipice of something really special. I believe that. Also would encourage you to invite spirit into where you are, right? Look at your vision, look at your timeline and say, Spirit, I invite you into that. I invite you into this with me. I invite you into this moment. I invite you into where I'm going. And through that, you invite the higher into your life, and then he can move within you and move to help you on your path. Thirdly, a rejection is not necessarily a bad thing. If anything, if you're getting rejected, if you're getting no's, it's probably a sign that you are moving in a way that is going to create some type of result, right? Because you have to be willing to confront your dreams, your vision, your goals, and that sometimes takes courage and that sometimes takes you being willing to step outside of the box and being willing to take a couple no's before you reach a yes. Keep going.